What's this then, I hear you ask? Another Suzuki Super Mini? Don't they already have the Swift? Well, yes they do, and no, it's not going anywhere, so you don't have to worry about that. What this Baleno is intended to be is a more grown-up alternative to the Swift, a slightly more sensible Super Mini for a different breed of buyer. It's on the same level as cars like the Skoda Fabia and the Dacia Sandero, which appeal to people because they offer maximum practicality with minimum cost. However, Suzuki also says that while some people buy cars based on their emotional appeal alone, while others choose them for more rational reasons, the Baleno is a car that bridges the two. In other words, it's a car you'll buy for practical reasons, but that you'll enjoy to drive as well. Just two trims are available with the Baleno, the entry-level SZT and the range top in SZ5. If that seems a little restrictive, well, it's not really. Suzuki just says that most people don't tend to go for the absolute basic model, and so the SZT simply trims the fat and is more comparable to a mid-spec car from a rival manufacturer. Standard kit is impressive, with all Balenos getting DAB radio, sat-nav and Apple CarPlay. SZ5 models get adaptive cruise control and stop-start, along with the option of an automatic gearbox with flappy paddle shifters. Of course, all that equipment comes at a price, and the trade-off is that the cabin itself can seem a little on the cheap side and somewhat gloomy with the overuse of hard and scratchy dark plastics. It's not meant to be a premium car by any means, and it is comfortable. It's just that when you've got an interior that's decidedly more on the utilitarian side of the fence, some buyers might be tempted to splash a little extra cash for something that feels a bit more upmarket. It's not all bad though, as the Baleno features some surprisingly clever packaging, which means it's got a lot more space inside it than many of its rivals, particularly in the rear where there's loads of room for passengers. Boot space is generous too, with 302 litres with the rear seats up. Fold them down almost flat and that increases cargo capacity to 1085 litres, which is bigger than the Fiesta and the Polo, but slightly smaller than the Skoda Fabia. So that's the practicality, but what about the drivability? Well, the Baleno also marks the debut of Suzuki's new 1-litre booster jet petrol engine, a smaller version of the 1.4 that debuted on the Suzuki Vitara S earlier last year. A little 3-cylinder engine in the same vein as Ford's EcoBoost engines, it boasts 109 brake horsepower and 170 Nm of torque, and I have to say it really is brilliantly lively. It pulls happy and hard even from low in the rev range, and due to the fact that even at its porkiest the Baleno only weighs 950 kilograms, it can scamper from 0 to 62 in just 11.4 seconds. Like a lot of 3-cylinders, it does start to moo a little whenever you properly give it the beans, but it is a remarkably fun little motor. In terms of handling, the lightweight of the Baleno also means that it's not a bad car to drive at all. It still doesn't have a patch on something like the Fiesta, for example, with a slightly numb steering and a bit of body roll whenever you really step on it, but remember this is the sensible option and it's not supposed to compete with the likes of the scrappier little Swift. It does leave a little to be desired in terms of refinement, however. There's a lot of wind and tyre noise that creeps into the cabin, while a 6th gear would be nice, particularly when you're on the motorway. The Baleno also comes with the option of a mild hybrid version which matches a 1.2-litre petrol engine with a little electric motor, although we haven't had the chance to drive that one yet and we'll save that for a full review later on. Pricing for the Baleno range starts from £12,999, while the range top model is just £1,000 more. No, it's not the cheapest model in its segment, but virtually no rival comes with this amount of kit as standard, at least not in this price point. In terms of running costs, Suzuki claims that the booster jet Baleno can return up to 62.7 miles per gallon with 105 grams per kilometre of CO2. We haven't quite matched that and only returned 50.3 miles per gallon, but the hybrid model can reportedly return up to 70.6 miles per gallon with just 94 grams per kilometre of CO2. From an economic standpoint at least, there's a lot about the Baleno that makes sense though, particularly when you consider that the £1,000 you would spend on the top trim costs less than some of the individual options on rivals. The main thing going against it is that it just lacks some of that wow factor with a slightly frumpy design that's a long way behind sleeker, sexier rivals. But beauty, as they say, is only skin deep, and there's a lot to like here. With plenty of space, an impressive kit list and that energetic booster jet engine, the Suzuki Baleno does the sensible Super Mini better than most, and for less money. But what do you think of the Baleno? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the Inquire button to find out more details about this car, or for any other models visit carkeys.co.uk. And to watch more reviews, click on one of the links on screen now.